Regulation of kidney functions and by feedback mechanism or feedback circuit. So it's two. It takes place at the three levels. One is hypothalamus, that is also controlled. Heart is controlled, and juxtaglomerular apparatus is also controlled. So there are two hormonal feedback mechanisms that control the functions of kidneys. These are controlled by the ADH hormone and controlled by the juxtaglomerular apparatus. So in one go, first talk about control by the ADH hormones. In our body, osmoreceptors get activated by the changes in body fluid volume, change in blood volume, and ionic concentration. As you know that if the decrease the body fluids that activated the osmoreceptors, and these osmoreceptors stimulate the hypothalamus. So in this way, antidiuretic hormones or vasopressin is the hormones released by posterior pituitary that affect the permeability of DCT and collecting duct. So large amount of water in urine is known as diuresis. The counteract on this occurs by hormone, antidiuretic hormone or ADH. So action of these hormones to absorb water that making urine hypertonic. The regulation of water by ADH is an example of homeostatic feedback mechanism. Any variations in the osmotic pressure of blood due to reduced the excessive intake of water is quickly detected by osmoreceptors and feedback mechanism operates as given. uh, so so first of all, decrease water intake, low water content in blood, and next high osmotic pressure in blood. Next, detection by osmoreceptors in hypothalamus. So detection by osmoreceptor in hypothalamus increased the ADH in circulation. So due to circulation of ADH, increased permeability of DCT and collecting duct. So if permeability of increase, then increased reabsorption of water from tubules into blood stream. So concentrated or hypertonic urine separated out, dilute hypertonic urine separated out. So decreased reabsorption of water from tubules into blood stream. Blood stream. So osmotic pressure is normal of the blood. That is feedback mechanism. That is feedback mechanism. Again, if increase water intake, first is decreased water intake, second one is increased water intake. So high water content in blood. When high water content in blood, then low osmotic pressure takes place in the blood. So due to this, detection by the osmoreceptors in hypothalamus, and hypothalamus receptors stimulate hypothalamus to decrease the ADH circulation. If the ADH circulation is decreased, so decreased permeability of DCT and collecting duct. So that's why decreased reabsorption of water from tubules into blood stream. Again, osmotic pressure is normal in blood, so that is feedback mechanism. So in this way, ADH work. In this way, ADH work or control the regulation of kidney function. So how does this process takes place? You can just see the video. So prevent diuresis by promoting DCT and distal convoluted tubules and collecting ducts to reabsorb more water. Distal convoluted tubules, collecting duct in two areas particularly. Prevents hypothalamus suppress the release antidiuretic hormones if the increase in body fluid volume. So in the feedback mechanisms, all these functions are clearly described. So you understand. So you just understand, if the increased glomerular blood flow, so it means ADH prevent diuresis by promoting DCTs and collecting duct to reabsorb more water, constrict blood vessels and increase the GFR. So second one is control by juxtaglomerular apparatus. When the body loses sodium ion, it also loses water by osmosis. So results in low blood volume and the blood pressure fall. So this is detected by the juxtaglomerular apparatus situated next to the Bowman's capsule. So when JGA means juxtaglomerular apparatus operates a multi-hormonal renin-angiotensin aldosterone system RAAS to regulate the salt balance in the body in the different way or in a very unique way. So one, decrease in blood volume or blood pressure due to decrease in the blood level of sodium ions in blood sodium level, you can say. Second, reduced blood flow in different arteriole of the glomerulus. So next, that's reduced blood flow detected by the juxtaglomerular apparatus and release renin into the bloodstream. Release renin into the bloodstream. So renin converts plasma protein angiotensinogen to a peptide angiotensin second, a hormone. So angiotensinogen in the presence of renin convert into angiotensin second. Angiotensin 2 increase blood pressure by causing arterioles to constrict. So it also increases blood volume by the two means. One is by signaling PCT to reabsorb more NaCl and water, by stimulating adrenal glands to release aldosterone. So angiotensin second stimulates the adrenal cortex to release hormone aldosterone. So angiotensin second stimulates adrenal cortex to release hormone aldosterone from the adrenal glands. So aldosterone stimulates reabsorption of sodium ion and water and acting on distal convoluted tubule. So this increased blood volume and blood pressures completing the feedback circuit. So in this way, juxtaglomerular apparatus control the kidney functions. So at the third level, role of ANF to increase blood volume and pressure. So another hormones peptide called atrial natriuretic factors ANF oppose the regulation by RAS renin angiotensin aldosterone system. The wall of the atria of heart release ANF in response to an increase in blood volume and pressure. So ANF in just turn inhibits release of renin from JGA. So this reduces the release of aldosterone from adrenal and inhibit NaCl reabsorption by the collecting duct, thereby checking the blood volume and blood pressure. So thus ADH, RAAS mean to say that RAS and ANF provide an elaborate system of checks and balance which regulate the functioning of kidney, thereby regulating the osmolarity of body fluids, salt concentration, blood volume and blood pressure. So friends, now we are talking about disorders of excretory system. So friends, malfunctioning of kidney can lead to accumulation of urea in blood. So this condition is called uremia, which is highly harmful and may lead to kidney failure. In such patient, urea can be removed by the process is called hemodialysis. So these are the urea molecules in the blood. So this process is hemodialysis. Blood drained from a convenient artery is pumped into a dialysis unit after adding an anticoagulant like heparin. The unit contains a coiled cellophane tube surrounded by fluids, dialysing fluids, having the same composition so that plasma accepts the nitrogenous waste. The porous cellophane membrane of the tube allows the passage of molecules based on concentration gradient. As nitrogenous waste are absent in the dialysing fluid, these substances freely move out. So thereby clearing the blood. The clear blood is pumped back into the body through a vein after adding antiheparin to it. So this method is a boon for thousands of uremic patients all over the world. So in this way, uremia is controlled or collect by the hemodialysis. That kidney transplants, the second is kidney transplant. Father gives the kidney to son. Kidney transplantation is the ultimate method in the correction of acute renal failures. Kidney failures or so a functioning kidney is used to transplantation from a donor, preferably a close relative, to minimize its chances for rejections by the immune system of the host. Modern clinical procedures have increased the success rate of such a complicated techniques. Next disorder is renal calculi. So calculi means stones or insoluble mass of crystallized salts like oxalate, ions, etc. formed within the kidney. So these mass is called calculus. Next disorder is glomerulonephritis. So it is the inflammation of glomeruli of kidney. So all these are the disorders of excretory system, and these are uh, easily diagnosed with the help of expert doctors. So in this way, your fourth chapter now have over.